Senate is set to reconvene tomorrow as the government shutdown enters its third week. Now, last week, Congress rejected competing spending bills for a seventh time. Thousands of federal workers already received word they'll be permanently laid off. And get this, the CDC says hundreds of workers were mistakenly laid off. Our Margaret Brennan asked Vice President J.D. Vance about all of this yesterday on Face the Nation.
We have to do layoffs because we have to preserve necessary resources to do the most critical things that the government does. And in that phase, you're going to have some chaos. You're going to lay off people, frankly, Margaret, that the White House doesn't want to lay off. We would like to reopen the government and ensure the essential services stay on. But unfortunately, in an environment where we're dealing with limited resources, where the government is shut down, we've got to move some things around. And in that moving things around, there is some chaos, there is some unpredictability, but we're trying to do everything that we can with the hand of cards that Chuck Schumer and the Democrats have dealt us.
CBS News congressional correspondent Nikole Killion joins us now from Capitol Hill with more on all of this. Good morning to you, Nikole. So where do things stand this morning, and what can we expect when the Senate returns?
Yeah, well, you can probably see behind me, Errol, it's pretty quiet around here, except for maybe a few reporters that you might be able to hear here on the Senate side of the Capitol. I mean, look, lawmakers are gone. They're not here. It's obviously a federal holiday, with the exception of Speaker Johnson, who is holding a news conference at this hour. But, you know, there is no negotiating taking place among congressional leaders. Now, we do know when the Senate returns tomorrow, they will try again to vote on a short-term funding bill. However, in the past with the Senate, we have seen them take up the bill that passed the House to fund the government through November, as well as a Democratic alternative. But tomorrow, more than likely, we may just see the one vote on the House bill, because Republican leaders at this point are really trying to force Democrats' hands here. They say, in their view, that's really the only way to open the government, is if Democrats start to break ranks and support this short-term funding extension again through mid-November.
And each side, Nikole, politically has their own messaging about why they can't get the other side to agree to fund the government. We just played a clip of Vice President Vance saying there will be a little bit of chaos, a little bit of inconsistency because the Democrats won't come to the table, while Democrats say they want to make sure that these health care subsidies continue for those who are on Obamacare or services under the Affordable Care Act. So what do both sides need to do in order for there to be a deal?
Yeah, well, keep in mind, it's more than that for Democrats. I mean, certainly extending those Affordable Care Act subsidies are one component of this, and probably the one where there is some bipartisan agreement on the need to address them before the year is up. But look, Democrats are also calling for a rollback of some of the Medicaid cuts under the big, beautiful bill, although Republicans claim there aren't cuts, they're just reforms to Medicaid. And then, of course, you know, Democrats want more guarantees that the White House won't claw back funding that Congress allocates and approves. So that's the other big sticking point for Democrats as well. They also want to restore some of that funding for public broadcasting that was cut earlier this year due to a rescissions package. So there are several items on Democrats' list here, and they say the only way to resolve this is if, in their view, Republicans come to the table. Take a listen to what Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy told our Margaret Brennan on Face the Nation.
There's no negotiations happening right now because Republicans are boycotting those negotiations.
You do not trust that if you vote to open the government and then have a separate conversation about health care, that there will be any follow through?
Absolutely not.
Because that is what the vice president was arguing here, that it's like Democrats aren't even saying what it is they want to negotiate over.
No, you cannot trust this administration.
And I think that's the key word there from Senator Murphy, trust. You know, there is just a big trust deficit right now here on Capitol Hill, where Democrats don't trust Republicans. If Republicans say, hey, we'll give you a vote on these ACA subsidies, or we'll have these negotiations later, Democrats simply don't trust Republicans' word on that. Republicans equally don't trust Democrats that they will, in their view, kind of do the right thing and try to reopen the government. You know, there's just, unfortunately, a lot of bad blood right now between both sides, even as this issue requires some type of bipartisan solution. So we'll have to see how the rest of the week plays out, Errol.
All right, Nikole Killion with all the latest there on Capitol Hill. Nikole, thank you.